Oh, hi. It's day 6. Today you meet Winnie Cooper, my sweet baby girl. Yeah, you're my baby girl. She's, what are you? Turning 9 this year? Okay, your stinky breast stinks. You wanna say hi? You wanna say hi? Say hi. Right here. Look. Oh, well. Yeah, she's my baby. Okay, go lay down. Lay down in your bed. Alright, sorry. That's Winnie Cooper. That's my sweet baby girl, my little doxy. She's turning 9 this year, as I mentioned. I grew up with dachshunds, and when I decided, because I am the one that decided that I wanted a dog, and Devin let me have one. She wanted a corgi. I wanted a French bulldog, and we got a dachshund. Uh, so that's how that worked. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. She doesn't bark, which is odd for a dachshund. Bizarre, but I'm not complaining because a dachshund's bark is pretty fierce. If anybody has dachshunds or has heard a dachshund, it's not only loud and obnoxious, they bark a lot. Like a lot. So, very thankful that she does not bark. We actually raised her not to bark. So it actually worked out for us. Day 6, April 23rd, I think today is. It's been kind of nuts. Actually, it's been pretty chill. Devin's out for the next week, so she went to the beach with family. A little planned vacation to celebrate her and her brother's 40th birthday. They went to the beach with the mom, so that's pretty cool. So they're gonna be gone for a week. Got the house to myself. Well, Winnie's here, and Ziggy, our cat, is here too. Maybe you'll meet Ziggy one day. He's not in here right now, but yeah, today was pretty chill. Did some work for the Ukraine project. I set up a whole Ukraine setup on here, but it didn't really work out with the person I was talking to today. So just some interviews. I think one of the biggest things I'm finding about Web3, and we'll talk about these projects more as I get into it. Transparency is a big thing. Talking about the behind the scenes stuff, like the inner workings of a project, just being transparent and letting people see who's involved on the project. Introducing the team, being as real as possible and as genuine, and kind of letting people into that is a part of the experience, which I absolutely love, because I think I've always struggled in Web 2 and marketing before, because you're putting on a face that while it represents your brand and highlights all the great things, it's not genuine, or at least I've felt it's not genuine. I'm not going to say it's not genuine, because in most cases it is. It's just exaggerated beyond belief, and not realistic in most cases with common folk. So I don't know. I like that aspect of Web3. I think that I've always kind of, with my content. Oh, I said Ziggy, and now he's scratching at the door. With my content, I've always tried to make it as real and as genuine as possible. To my detriment at times, I think, but that's just who I am, and that's what I'm able to do well, is kind of bring that real out and expose that. So I'm kind of stoked about Web3 in that sense, that a lot of it is just being real and raw and kind of letting people in and taking them along in the journey. That's what I'm hoping to do with this little project once we get it up and running. And I mean, I guess doing this much is already getting it up and running. But so set up an interview, talked to Yulia today. Yulia is one of the team members with the Ukraine Art Collective. Like me, she was introduced to the team just before getting down to Miami, and she's a badass. Yulia de Rugana. She's originally from Ukraine, so I think she's been in the States for about 8 years now. So it's super cool that, and she's living in New York. So did a little, I don't even know, it was 20, 30 minutes maybe. I didn't even see what the run time on it was. But just kind of talked about her background, where, what her experiences in Ukraine before she moved to the United States. One of her first jobs was at McDonald's in the Ukraine, which is kind of crazy as an American to hear. I think for me, just having those conversations are huge, and understanding. I'll be the first to admit I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to Ukraine, the people of Ukraine, the customs in Ukraine, the culture. So anytime I jump into a new project that I'm not familiar with, that's kind of where I love being. I love talking to folks about where they come from, how they got into things, why they got into things, and that's kind of what we did. We just talked about what did you do growing up, how did you get into the field that you're in, because she's in the Web3 field, and then how did you get into this project? How did you meet the team that formed this Ukraine Art Collective, and how did you end up in the role that you are? I think anytime that you are doing research on a project or trying to find out more about who's involved and the background that the folks on the team have, all that information is vital. And I'll say it again, especially in this Web3 space, like, you have to have a lot of trust in the beginning, and trust has always been an issue for me. So I'm struggling in that regard, I think, to jump in as much as most people are into NFTs and Web3 and all that. But I'm okay with that. Like, I usually ease into things. I'll jump into a room and listen to the conversations before I even open my mouth to try to jump in most times. And this is no different. But I think for me, I'm optimistic about the space. I'm optimistic about the future for the first time in a while. Just because I've, in the past, it's been a rough few years here for a lot of different reasons. And it necessarily hasn't been heading into the direction that most people want. All the issues with the pandemic and now this war and all this stuff. There's always going to be stuff like that, but I don't know. There was a probably good 2-3 years where I was just way out of the mindset I'm usually in. I wouldn't say depressed, even though it was definitely a little bit of depression. But I definitely wasn't optimistic about the future, and I didn't think that we were heading in the right place. We being the collective universe of people, whatever. Anyways, so I was struggling for a while, and I think that was the biggest reason that I found. Not the biggest reason that I found it, but the biggest reason I was drawn to the NFT 365 project. One, because I'd been following this dude since 2015. But he was optimistic. He's always believed in tech and how tech kind of brings people together and can help expose the good. And he feels that this NFT space is actually what's going to get us there, or just maybe something that helps us get there. And I'm with him on that. Like, I truly believe it. I think most of the reason is because believing the other side of it is kind of not great. It's better to be optimistic. It's better to have an open mind. Better to look at a glass and say it's half full than half empty. I've done both throughout my life, and you could argue both sides. I think I've lived on both sides of that. But recently I've been pretty pessimistic. Easy for me to say. Pessimistic about everything. And I'm trying to live on the optimistic side these days, and it's just it's a lot better, for a lot of reasons. So yeah, I have another interview tomorrow. I'm pretty stoked about that. Leon is one of the founders, even though I don't know if they like to be called founders. It's right now it's volunteer effort. It's a bunch of folks that came together to try to make this happen. They all have one, maybe 2 or 3 businesses, some of them that they're running. So, time to dedicate to this is it's tough to find sometimes when you're running 3 companies. Some of these folks, and Leon is no exception. He's a pretty successful individual. So, I look forward to talking to him. I definitely didn't see myself being the face of this, and I don't think I am the face of it, but like conducting these interviews, driving these interviews, asking the questions to introduce these team members, it's a role that's I'm pretty honored to be able to do. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I don't think you're ever ready for stuff like this. I've been making content, asking questions kind of behind the scenes through other projects. But my face is on the camera. My voice is the one asking the questions now. So it's a little different, a little intimidating at times. And I wouldn't say I'm completely ignorant about what's going on. But I don't, like I said, I don't have a lot of base knowledge about Ukraine, about the Ukrainian people, culture, and all that stuff. So I'm just approaching it as an interested American who's wanting to help. And I mean, that's as genuine as I can be right now, because that's 100% truth. Like, for me, I actually reached out to one of the guys that put this together, Mike Grushin, and told him, I was like, I know that you're volunteering in Miami with nonprofits. Like, how can I help? I don't have the funds right now to donate, like, but I can make content. I can help organize stuff. Like, give me something. And a month later, here I am doing this. I'm learning a ton with this opportunity, and that's kind of how I look at everything. Like, I overthink a lot of things, and I'm really worried about misrepresenting what it is, because I am an American that doesn't have a ton of knowledge about it. But I also think it's kind of an advantage in some ways, because I think there's a lot of Americans right now that truly don't understand it. And if I can, be that voice and help them understand it and learn myself along the way, I think that's the best approach I can take right now. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. So I've never been scared to be the idiot in the room, and that's the kind of role I think I'm playing for this. I just asking a bunch of questions, and most of it for me, like I said, is just getting to know the folks involved. I think that's a big thing in Web3, and letting the people decide for themselves, once they meet these folks virtually through an interview that I'm asking questions of. And I hope to do that a little bit more. I mean, not just with the Ukraine project, but maybe in the Web3 space in general. I'm taking on a little bit more responsibility as a moderator, for those of you that don't understand what mods are. It's a moderator of a Discord. We'll get into that. That's a whole probably 10 series of streams in itself. Discord's a social media platform. Was big in the gaming industry, still is, but that's kind of what started it. But it's where a lot of these projects are building their community. It's like the hub for all the things for these NFT projects. And I'm doing fun stuff. I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous, when I talked about the NFT 365 project that I'm working with, but I'm actually a moderator on the team for the NFT 365 now. And pretty excited about that. I've never moderated anything before. And there's so much to learn. Like, the more I get into it and the more I do learn, the more I realize I don't know shit. I don't know anything. But I do have skill sets that I can kind of leverage and lean on while I get up to speed. And I'm having fun with it. Like, I'll just jump in there and randomly DJ. I'll put some music on for people to listen to while they work. Little co-working sessions. Hosting a game night, which I think I talked about, which is kind of fun. Just me being an idiot, putting together little quizzes, and it's cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it, and I think as long as you can continue to do that, anything's possible, and you can learn in any space. So it's kind of how I've approached everything I've done in my whole life. So this is no exception. And I have all the experiences I've had up until this point to back me up and to keep me honest. So definitely having fun with it. I'm continuing to ramble, and I probably will for the next week. I did talk to Adobe yesterday. We upgraded to Adobe 23 dot something. I think it's a new build that they haven't released yet. They're hoping that fixes it. I actually have an edit from Miami that was like a month ago now to try to put together. So I'm going to do that. Just a little recap video for the Ukraine project. I'm also going to be going back through a lot of the episodes. There's 163 episodes now of this NFT 365 podcast. And I'm going to be going back through those and doing little recaps, little summaries of that. Because they're anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour, some of these podcasts. So giving little bite-sized nuggets that people can kind of consume and understand, and taking the gold from each episode and making little recaps. I'm going to be doing that. I talked about some interesting ideas to help with that project in the future too. And I'm just, like I said, trying to contribute to both and learn as much in both as I can right now. I really feel like what I'm going to be doing in the future is heavily involved with Web3. So I'm just trying to be a sponge and soak up all I can right now. We'll see. They keep saying we're still early, but like I feel like I'm late to the game at this point. So we'll see how it pans out. I think I'm going to the lake tomorrow. Not like that. I'm not going to go hang out and relax. I'm hanging window blinds. Yeah, and building IKEA furniture. I've been doing that my last 2 or 3 trips there. So I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but we just bought a house, little property in the middle of nowhere, Florida. And I've been building that up. I'm making it a home. Maybe we'll talk about that on my way out there. I'll stream on the drive out or while I'm there and talk a little bit about that, because that's been an amazing thing that's going on in my life right now. And it's been a lot of work here in the beginning, but I think it's all going to be worth it. It already is all worth it. But yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow maybe. I'm going to be here most of the day, so I might do it from here. But if not, I'll be there the next couple days. So that's why I'm going to be doing some remote streams. It's the same thing. I'll just be doing it from my phone. If anybody stumbles across this and has questions, feel free to post them in the comments. Hit me up on my socials, Carter1214, across all socials. Got things you want to see, you want me to talk about? A story you want me to tell? All that. This is like a brain dump every day for me right now until I find my way. I do feel that I feel this is the right thing to do, even though it's kind of odd, and I don't know if I'm getting anything out of it yet. But I think it's what I'm supposed to be doing, so we're going to keep after it. Appreciate you jumping in. Appreciate you listening to me ramble. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again.